brushing my brows. Does anyone else just brush their brows with one of these? I feel like it does all the difference. Like if, okay, let me show you. We'll do it as if they were little squeaky little things. See? Yeah, no, not happening. See? See those brows? Now let's plump them up. Let's brush them up and then brush them out to the sides. Give them a little bit of volume. I probably need to dye my brows. But look at that.
Yeah.
You see?
Focused.
Much better. Michael Jackson in the bikini. She look good in that bikini. But then when it's time of favorite section, she will hit a reverse. Millie rockin' in reverse.
So much TikTok. I haven't even spent that much time on TikTok.
Good, you've been working.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, good. It's been, you know what? You had a decent amount of time off. Work.
I did.
About time you get back into it. Okay. I asked everyone on Instagram. Oh, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I asked everyone on Instagram what you want me to touch on based on my relationship with food. This week's challenge is healthy swaps with Gymshark for Gymshark 66. Even though I might do healthy swaps in my day-to-day life, I'm not conscious of it, if that makes sense. Like I don't go out of my way to do healthy swaps because I eat such a wide variety of foods. I don't want to, I'm so anal about not building up a bad relationship with food, whether that means being able to eat the shitty foods or whatnot. Like I don't believe in having to do healthy swaps. If I want to eat the damn thing that ain't healthy, I'm gonna eat the damn thing that ain't healthy. Instead of going over all of my healthy swaps, I will be just chatting to you guys about my relationship with food, how I got here, touch on a few topics that you guys asked me to touch on Instagram, so we're waiting for that. In that process, we are going to the shops because I need to go get bits and pieces for Project X big reveal shoot, big shoot. So we're gonna go do that. I'm gonna answer questions along the way, talk about it on the way, so that we're kind of like hitting two birds with one stone. I do not throw stones at birds, it's just a metaphor, I promise. Let go.
This is a struggle.
Okay, so I want to give a little bit of a background into how I came to this point of relationship with food. So firstly, when I was younger, my gymnastics coach actually used to get us to write out what we had for lunch every day. So that was something that kind of, over time with a lot of the girls in my team, grew into an eating disorder, which is really sad because it's something that is so uncommon now and so wrong to do, but back then it was so normal. So that had something to do with my eating habits back then. My parents were very strict on what I ate. I wasn't allowed to eat much sugar. I never really had much sugar. My mum and dad were pretty good with my diet. Like they were very inclusive of so many foods, and I still would have lollies and chocolates, but it would be like one furry friend chocolate for the week. It wouldn't be like, we never got dessert, like we never had desserts unless we had friends over and mum cooked up something. But then when I got to an age where I was earning money and I got to spend money at the tuck shop, oh shit. Okay, so to be honest, it kind of just all broke loose because I was like, I have this freedom. My tuck shop was top notch, by the way. So I would get like choc chip muffins, I would get spinach and feta rolls, like all of this food that I wouldn't be able to have had before. And if my parents saw what I was ordering for lunch, they probably would be very disappointed. It wasn't until I guess like grade 11 or 12 where I kind of stopped doing that so much. I would have a muffin or something every now and then, but it wasn't as often. It wasn't as like often, it was more of a rare thing, which ended up being a good thing because I kind of developed my own eating habits out of that. But when I went out of school and I went to uni, I was living by myself, barely any money. I was literally living week to week, and I've told so many people this before, but I would budget my dog's food in before I budgeted my food in because she was more important to me at that stage and her health was more important to me than like what I was intaking, what my food entailed. So not prepping meals, but I would make a big batch of food and just divide it up into things for that week. My mum and dad would come over once every now and then and bring me like a whole heap of spaghetti bolognese, just your regular like chicken and food, and my dad would do a lot of curries and stuff like that. So I lived off a lot of like pre-made meals at that stage, but I also would go and eat out as well, and it wasn't as often because I didn't have the money to eat out as often, but when I did, it would be stuff like sushi and all of that sort of jazz. Fast forward to now, I'm starting to learn more about cooking, and I'm actually, at the moment, I've been cooking quite a bit. I cook like 2 or 3 times a week with my mum. She kind of just helps me understand what flavors to put together and what I can create out of really simple products and really simple things. A lot more conscious of the food that I'm eating now, only because it's not being given to me. So my parents made a very strong, precise thing of making sure we had veggies on each plate and all of that sort of stuff, but because it was made for us and given to us, it's a very different story to you actually going out of your way and cooking it. So the first topic is how to not overindulge in junk food, and that's something that I've found only doesn't happen for me because I don't restrict myself. If I want to eat some sort of junk food, I will eat it in moderation, and the times that I have felt like I am going to overindulge or I want to overindulge, I don't actually end up eating it. And I was saying to Tanya before, when we used to have our girls' nights, movie nights and stuff like that, we would go out and buy like ice creams, chips, what else? Popcorn, lollies. Like we would go all out and buy like a packet of each, and we would sit down and watch the movie and only eat like 1 or 2 of those things, and the rest would go to waste. I always think I'm going to eat more than what I actually do, because by the time I'm actually eating it, I'm like,
The excitement's worn off.
The excitement has 100% worn off. Has there ever been a point in your life where you felt guilty when eating certain things? Yes, 100%. And the reason being is when I had this freedom of having money and going and doing stuff, there were a couple of times where I would, if my bus was early to the bus station for my gymnastics center, I would go across the road and grab like a bag of lollies before I went into training, and I felt guilty for that every single time. Moving on, let's go to another one. Do you drink alcohol, and if so, do you limit yourself? I do drink alcohol. I definitely limit myself. I will only have alcohol when I like what I'm drinking. I'm not going to drink just for the sake of drinking and getting drunk. Like, I'm high on life already. I don't need alcohol to get me pumped up or to get me drunk or to give me confidence or any of that sort of jazz. So if I'm drinking, it's because I like the taste of that alcohol. I'll usually have 1 to 2 drinks. If I want to get a little bit rowdy with the girls, I'll have a couple more. I actually hold my alcohol really well, and I think it's just because I'm quite fit. My body, I think it's got something to do with your metabolism. You can actually hold your alcohol in toxicity, I don't know, better if you are fit and you have a very quick metabolism. But yes, I definitely drink alcohol. Again, I don't restrict myself. I do not restrict myself to anything. If I want to eat, drink, do whatever, I will eat, drink, do whatever that is. Alright, let's do one more before we go in and go shopping. Typical meals per day, even on weekends. So I'm going to quickly touch on this because I know a lot of you guys have asked for what I eat in a day, vlogs and stuff like that, and I'm not a massive advocate for those, just because I know some people sit down and watch and kind of pinpoint back and forth what they're eating compared to what I'm eating. I never want that to be a thing. I never want comparison to be a massive component of watching my videos. And 2, I don't really want to be promoting a certain way of eating. So whatever you perceive as me choosing a certain way of eating, I don't want that to be a thing. So on average daily in the morning, I will have either oats, boiled eggs, sometimes I have bacon and eggs on toast, sometimes I have avocado on toast, sometimes I have Vegemite toast, sometimes I might have smoothies. Like, I chop and change all the time. I intuitively eat what I want to eat that morning. I will eat. Lunchtime, I have wraps a lot, especially at the moment. I might have like a rice bowl, avocado and tuna or chicken. I have sushi if I'm out. Sushi's like my #1 go-to. What else? I love that I'm asking Tanya these things, because Mike, you did live with me for like 3 years.
Yeah, I know.
Stuff like that. I'm not super creative with my food. If I like how it tastes, then I just stick with it. I don't go searching for new things. And then dinner, usually something if mum's cooking. I love stir fries. I've been cooking up so many stir fries at the moment, trying to get like the flavoring and stuff right. Mum does a lot of curries, pastas. She did a shepherd pie the other night, a lot of meat mixes, so many. There's so many recipes.
My mum's a good cook.
My mum is an awesome cook. She is a great cook, and my dad's even bloody better. So whatever it is that she's got on for that night, or if it's one of my nights to cook, we'll cook something together. And like I said, majority of the time it's like a stir fry, including as many veggies as possible. Roasts, we do a lot of roasts as well. Yeah, there's so much stuff. Yeah, so let's go inside and then I'll answer a couple more, and then I think we'll be done with the video, because I'm pretty sure I've covered majority of questions that I've had about food. A lot of these questions are very the same. Yeah, cool. All right, so I just got a message from my beautiful boyfriend, who is obviously competed before and counts macros and does all of that stuff. We've had conversations back and forth about the importance of counting macros. Steve thinks it's something that everyone should be taught and everyone should do for at least a month or something in their lifetime, and I thought that's not necessarily necessary, because I do feel like some people have a really good relationship with food without having to actually count numbers. But in his defense, I think it is something that is lacked within the educational system, and we have a lot of people going through high school getting to a point where they are obviously fueling themselves with foods that they don't actually realize what it contains. So I think he's definitely right, but I do think it's a slippery slope nowadays because it's such a touchy subject, and a lot of people have mental health issues surrounding food and the attachment to food and all of that sort of jazz. So he just mentioned the problem, he said this in his words, the problem is your metabolism is insane. Most people cannot eat what you do and look like you. And that's totally true. I'm going to put that out there straight away. My metabolism is insane. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for you guys. My metabolism is great, and my body doesn't fluctuate. Again, I said I don't bloat. I really don't fluctuate weight. Like if I have put on weight or lost weight, it is a gradual thing. It's never just like, oh, I'm feeling heavier today or I'm feeling lighter today, whatever. It's like I'm either putting on muscle because I'm training more weight sessions and I'm eating more, or I'm losing fat because I'm doing more cardio based sessions and that sort of stuff. That's why I don't want to do what I eat in a day, because what I eat in a day majority of the time will not work for you, because I feel like majority of people that I've surrounded myself with don't have as fast a metabolism as myself. So I can eat those things, and when I say those things, I'm not saying like I'm gonna go get a Macca's burger every day or something like that. I'm just talking about generalized food that maybe you might have to be a little bit more strict with. A lot of questions have come in for like, well, what kind of foods, like how can I lose weight and eat healthy while not having a negative relationship with food? And at the end of the day, it all comes down to your education, I would say. So if you guys want to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. And what that means is that you eat less calories than you burn off or than you work off. And that's just like the golden rule out there of weight loss. So you're going to do more movement and less eating of high calorie meals. And then obviously you stick to certain proteins, fats and carbs, which is the whole point of what Steve was mentioning before. Again, I don't do any of that. I don't have any plans to lose weight. If I wanted to gain more muscle, then I wouldn't do any of the outweighing stuff. I would just eat more, train more, eat more, lift more. Like I would do that sort of stuff. I understand the basic concepts, but I'm not out here measuring stuff and figuring out what macros work with what and what my long-term plan is and stuff like that. That is for people that have a specific health goal and want to do that. So I'm not saying that it's bad to do that at all. Like never, I would never say that's bad, because I think it's definitely needed for some people that have health problems and really need to get their shit back on track. But there is a very, like I said, a very slippery slope between doing that and becoming obsessive with that. So that's what we need to be aware of. Anyway, that is it. We are done for the video. I've blabbered on for long enough, and I'm not a nutritionist, so I don't know the actual science behind all of this stuff. I've obviously done certifications and stuff like that, but I only know so much as what I know, and I'm not going to put that out there as a professional. So please know, I'm not a professional in this field of science, but this is just my personal opinion and my personal relationship with food. Hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
That was horrible. You gotta cover the whole thing. Good.